All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I just really want to thank everybody for joining us for this webinar. This is our 5th webinar in a series of 5. We'll be doing other webinars, but this is a series of 5 on neuroplasticity. And today's webinar is on neuroplasticity and the new normal. So a lot of people have been talking about that, how new normal is affecting everybody. And so I just really kind of want to talk about the inner workings of our bodies and how it's affected by, normal. So let's start with, what is normal? By definition, normal is what is usual, common, or average. Normal does not stay the same, although we kind of think it does. What was normal last year is not normal this year. It's certainly not normal now. Neuroplasticity and normal is, kind of a huge subject, but I'm going to try to keep it kind of short and succinct so that we can all really understand it and relate with it. So whatever it is that we think is normal is a guide for our nervous system. And so our neuroplasticity is really built on what we think is normal. And so remember that our nervous system's primary objective is survival. Functionally, our nervous system is always trying to define what's happening around us, make sure that we're safe. If something seems out of the ordinary or threatening, our system will alert us to take flight or to fight and to be ready. So what is ordinary or threatening, and the appropriate actions are defined by us and our nervous systems. There's a lot of animal instincts wrapped up in that, the fight and flight. We have herd instincts and tribal instincts that are all kind of working on, having a normal environment so we can feel safe. So ordinary kind of equals normal. And since our nervous system is always looking to alert us about the things that are not safe and ordinary, when our normal changes, it can cause our nervous system to go on like a hypervigilance status. To, hey, things aren't okay, pay attention, look around, make sure you're safe. So when our nervous system is on hypervigilance status, this basically defines being nervous or having anxiety. It is definitely a feeling of discomfort, it's a feeling of unease. So when what is normal in our life changes, it is common that we feel uncomfortable until we have built enough nerves that are associated with whatever the new normal is. So, everything is run by our nerves, just like everything else we've been talking about. And it's all run, by the process of neuroplasticity. So, neuroplasticity means that we need to have multiple experiences with new normal for it to become normal. So whatever we perceive as normal, as we do it for a number of days together, our nervous system says, oh, this is normal now. Okay, I'm going to be okay with what's happening now. So for example, if I live alone and I'm used to living alone and that's my normal, when someone moves in with me and I have to adjust to somebody being in my space, now my nervous system's a little uptight for a little while until I get accustomed to that and that becomes normal. So that's really how normal is working in our lives. And so our system naturally, when normal changes, resistance is going to come up. And resistance is what I call how our nervous system tries to stop us from taking certain actions or thinking a certain way, like feeling safe in a new environment. And so, typically this resistance comes up for reasons of surviving things that we may not actually need help to survive, but our nervous system doesn't really know better. Resistance is the blockage we feel towards making change. It can also make us feel uncomfortable with change. So resistance may also come with fight or flight reactions to change. Just because we're changing, our system's going to say, run away, or, let's get ready, let's fight this. So resistance may happen when we do not have the appropriate nerves built, or the wiring, I like to call it wiring, to actually perform whatever we're resistant to. So, in an earlier neuroplasticity webinar, I talked about, well, we don't have the nerves to meditate, then we're not going to be able to meditate. So when people say, hey, let's meditate, this resistance is going to come up saying, hey, I don't want to do that. But fortunately, through the process of neuroplasticity, we can drastically lower and remove resistance. One way is by making change a normal part of living. So it's possible to do that. It's possible to make change or living without a normal for an extended periods of time, a normal way of life. So for example, children who grow up in military families who have to move from base to base and have living quarters change many times over a number of years become used to change and adjusting to new environments. A lot of them either get excited about change or start to get very resistant. So their neuroplasticity has been trained that change is a necessary part of life and living, and therefore they may not feel as uncomfortable as many of us do with change. And this has been proven true with nomadic cultures. Studies show that for nomadic cultures, the perceived need to be constantly moving is passed from generation to generations genetically. And this is part of neuroplasticity and what is normal for that culture. So another option is, instead of just getting used to normal changing or getting used to change, is just to do away with normal. That's another option. I like that option a lot. So this requires transcending our natural animal instincts. Part of that is our herd instinct. We are fear-based pack animals, and they call our packs tribes. So what I'm really talking about here is being able to transcend our tribal instincts to define where we fit in, to create a normal space for us within whatever tribes we're used to another idea. So in today's society, we no longer need tribes for survival. Accordingly, we can condition our nervous system to understand that we do not want our sensory nerves to be constantly feeding us we are normal, we are in a normal place, and we're okay, but we don't want that information coming out of our nervous system anymore. We can condition our nervous system to understand that we will take care of that intellectually, or that we don't even have to worry about it, because we have, for survival, we really have nothing to worry about in today's society. So I don't want these natural instincts interfering or sending these signals anymore. And that way we can do away with having to have a normal. So if change is normal, or there is no normal, that makes life a lot easier to live. I have personally, endured lots of change in my life. Some say I'm a change expert, I'm a change agent, or that my business is all about creating change. I like to say normal is just a setting on the dryer. It's not, it's not a way of life for me. So I have and continue to self-direct myself through neuroplasticity to not define my environment. And I handle that intellectually. I can turn on the environmental hypervigilance if I want to. If I go into an area where I just need to be aware, I can just turn that on. Okay, now it's time to be, vigilant. But for most of the time, I want to thrive and not just survive. So my survival today is pretty much a given. So I don't have to worry about much. All I need my nervous system to do is be concerned with me being healthy, happy, and whole. I call it the 3 H's, even though the last H has a W in front of it. I basically have conditioned my nervous system that there is no such thing as normal. That saves me a lot of energy expenditure. I used to spend about 90% of my energy on survival. Part of that is defining my environment for safety and tribal reasons. So now I spend approximately 30% of my energy on those kinds of ideas. So I only spend about 30% of my energy defining my surroundings so that my nervous system feels safe. Because I've been conditioning my nervous system that I'm safe. I really have nothing to worry about. And that way, I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm thriving. Because I get to use 70% of my energy to live life at a higher level. It's awesome. because I don't like being at the mercy of my survival instincts. I love living my life. I love thriving. So in summary, neuroplasticity is the science of how our nervous system makes change. And that can be good or bad, right? We can spend a lot of time recreating things that aren't good for us and make it hard for us to make change. Or we can learn how to make change often and continue to transcend our natural animal instincts. And so what that means is, our system's still going to work the way it needs to. So we are going to keep surviving. It isn't like I'm taking away what it does. I'm actually enhancing it, elevating it to a higher level of human function. So if you want to improve how you are functioning or living your life, quickly transition to new normals. Neuroplasticity means that you can. It can also be that reason why you cannot. So we want to change how we manage the process of neuroplasticity. We can lower the adjustment period to any new normals all the time. So, or you can just join me, right? And say normal is just a setting on the dryer, and embrace the new. Forget normal. Let's enjoy life as it comes and be able to thrive instead of just survive. So in closing, with today's technology and the awareness of 2020, it's easier than ever before to entrain our nervous system to stop just surviving and hanging in there like the cat on the log, and struggling with changing what is normal, and begin thriving by not worrying about the normal anymore. Now is the time. So if you agree with me and want to know more about how to lower anxiety and stress and stop just surviving and stop worrying about what's changing and how things used to be and, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with what's going on, and live life at just a higher anxiety-free level, visit pathwayslife.com. Click on schedule a free call to schedule your free consultation. And remember, we've cracked the code to a more conscious you. So thank you for joining me today in our 5th in a series of 5 webinars on neuroplasticity. And I'm going to open it up for questions. So Jennifer, are there any questions?